Hey everyone, in this week's video, we are going to go over the 3 most effective exercises to decompress your spine at home. So, let's get straight into it. The first exercise we're going to get into is going to be the wide shifting quad pad. For this exercise, we are going to come down into a quad pad position, which is just on all fours. And what I want you to start with here is just starting to create a baseline of pressure with your breathing, ideally through your spine. And what's cool about this is we can actually start to create a active length in our spine or work this kind of decompressive effect simply with breathing. Now what we are going to do alongside this is we're going to work almost into kind of a child's pose position where we're just going to be gently starting to shift our hips back. So something to focus on as you're going through this is that with the hands in the front, what you can kind of envision or try to practice is almost pushing the hands in front of you. So you're kind of creating hand tension, pushing the floor away from you. And that is going to assist in the pelvis starting to shift back. And by having this hand tension alongside that pelvis shifting back, we're going to be creating an active length in through our entire spine. What I like to work alongside this is the breathing. So what you can think about is as the hips are shifting back and you're creating that hand tension pushing overhead, you're going to simultaneously work a breath coming into the segments of the spine. This is going to assist in making sure that our abdominal pressure is staying linked to the exercise, as well as making sure that the rib cage is staying linked to this motion as well. This is going to assist in the decompressive effect of the spine, and you can think the more air that you can send specifically into the backside of your body, the more decompression you're ultimately going to create through the movement. For our next exercise, we are going to get into a kneeling spinal extension. So to start with, we are going to come into a kneeling position, and as you can see, I'm using a basketball here. But you can grab any type of rounded ball that you might have around your household. That could be a soccer ball, it could be a small medicine ball. We just want something to kind of grip against so that we can keep our shoulders and our upper body connected to this exercise. So very similar to what we were doing in our previous exercise with the breathing is going to be how we're going to kind of start here. So I'm going to start with the ball in front of me. And ideally, my spine is going to be slightly rounded or flexed. And I just want you to start by taking small and subtle inhalations, ideally throughout the entire spinal column. So what you can think about is as you're going through this exercise, you're going to start the breath kind of at the lower portion of the spine. And then you're going to walk that up towards the mid part. And then you're going to finish right near the head. Once you have some air into the spinal column, what we're going to begin to do here is start to lift off our feet, and we're going to begin to extend the hips forward at the same time that we're going to start to extend our spine. Something to be mindful of here is that your lower back isn't doing a majority of the extending. Ideally, you want kind of this mid-region or thoracic spine region to be mainly going through the portion of extension. What this is working on is taking the spine through its entire range of motion, both from a more flexed state and also into the more extended one, where we are going to be creating that decompressive effect through it, but we are doing so in a integrated way, where I'm not just kind of loosely extending my spine, but I'm using this ball to assist me to keep my upper body connected to the motion. And what I mean by that is when we are using the ball, what you can think about is almost trying to pancake it. So you're trying to crush the ball in, and this should give you a little bit of activation through muscles like your pecs, maybe through your serratus, and even into your lats here as well. This will create the foundation of stability for our upper body to work from. And then the spine is just going to kind of nicely glide around that upper body tension that we have created against the ball. So what I would suggest here is just getting comfortable with that bottom position, kind of around that upper body tension, and then just see if you can maintain some of that tension as you're going to and from that end range of motion. Ideally, at no point am I just going to let my body go totally loose here. as we do want that baseline of tension to kind of be guiding us through this entire range of motion. In terms of reps, if you are executing this well, I would say aim anywhere between 8 to 10 repetitions, but there is certainly no harm staying at lower rep ranges as well. Even if you are between 5 to 8 repetitions and you find that you are getting a good active decompression as you're going through this, then you can just stick with that as well. For our third and final exercise, we're going to be working a wall press to a squat. So what you are going to do here is take both hands up against the wall, and they are going to be slightly higher than shoulder level. And I just want you to begin by creating, again, a little bit of that hand tension where you are pressing vertically towards the ceiling. This is meant to give us a little bit of that tension in through the shoulders once again. And then what we are going to attempt to do here is kind of suspend ourselves off that tension as we slowly start to sit our hips down through a squat motion. The range of motion here isn't going to be massive, as we are not focusing on necessarily increasing the depth of our squat, but more trying to focus on that decompressive element through the spine. So as you can see, all I'm doing here is kind of taking my hand tension. I'm trying to connect that to a little bit of my ground tension as well. And then I'm just trying to utilize those two to kind of segment my pelvis back into the squat. As I'm going through this, I am trying to keep some level of pressure kind of in my entire body. Again, so that we don't let the muscles or the spine itself kind of go into a lax state. By combining the pressure alongside the tension, that is going to be really what offers kind of this integrated decompressive effect, not only through the spine, but also through different muscles and different fascial systems in our structure. The intent here is to not replicate the range of motion that I'm going through exactly, but just go through the range of motion to what you think your body is capable of. You'll be able to quickly notice that as you go through these deeper ranges of motion, there's definitely going to be certain muscles and also just certain areas in your body that might want to switch off or may not be able to comfortably achieve these deeper ranges of motion. And that is totally okay. The idea here is that we gradually increase our range of motion over time and not necessarily start at the most extreme range of motion to begin with. So when it comes to decompressing the spine, it's important that we not only lengthen it, but we do so under a active tension. A spine that is decompressed without this active tension is almost going to operate like a wet noodle and may actually do more harm than good. So be mindful of this principle and think about how it not only applies to the spine, but really the entire body. If you like this video or found some value in it, something that would help me out a lot is if you did throw it a like, as well as you can subscribe to the channel for more content similar to this. Until next time, make sure you are prioritizing and then you are optimizing for you. That's just getting more ridiculous. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.